This week on the podcast, I talk about my time playing the Pokemon fan game Infinite Fusion. We discuss some updates around the DKOldies controversy, and of course, stick around until the end of the show for Deals of the Week. Roll the intro.
Doop-bop-a-doop, bloop-doop. It's good.
All right. Hello and welcome to Next to Nothing, a podcast for gamers on a budget. I'm your host, Danie K. With me as always, and producing the show this week because my computer is being very weird lately. It's the wonderful, the beautiful, the Mr. Green. Elite Green, how are you doing?
I am, as you say, professional.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
looks like you still
I
don't
have-
have a signal, so.
Yeah, I don't have my camera on because kind of is getting dressed and ready for work.
Okay, gotcha.
I'll have it on eventually. You'll see my beautiful face shortly. But
right.
how am I doing? I'm doing fantastic. I cannot complain. I can complain, but I'm not going to because it's not the time or the place to complain.
Yeah.
I
think it's my-
but
Yeah. I think it's my time and place to complain.
yeah. I can't possibly take that away from you. know?
That's right.
It was like a crisp. I do have to say that the only thing I can really complain about, but it was a double-edged sword, is it like the high was like 99 today. It was supposed to be like 100. And after lunch, I jumped in the pool for like 10 minutes, and it was great. So
Oh, suck a dick.
it was great. It was
For real.
It was phenomenal. It was a good, like, the water was 75 degrees exact. Yeah. So like when you jump into something really cold, like kind of your body like decides to become inny rather than outy. It was that moment. So
We're also joined by the spooky and the ukli Mendacii, who is suffering in the heat with me because it's still too cold to really have pools out here.
No shit.
How you doing, Mendacii?
Well, other than suffering, I am pretty happy. Resident Evil 4 Remake did drop their Mercenaries update, which was pretty cool. It was free. And it's really great, except for the fact that it's like really, really easy. And then they also dumped a whole bunch of dumb microtransactions in the store for people that don't want to play the game and just want to get their guns all maxed out. So like that kind of sucks. Yeah, it's whatever. It's what they did with Devil May Cry 5. So, but other than that, man, can't complain. Lots of Monster Hunter, chilling, thriving, living in the Midwest, kind of.
Excellent. Well, thanks for watching and listening to the show this week. We appreciate you guys coming and hanging out with us. Of course, if you miss any part of the show, you can find us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and everywhere podcasts are found. And you can always join us live every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Central Time over on Twitch if you make your way over here. I don't think we have anything else. Do we just want to jump right into Pokemon Infinite Fusion?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I need to witness all of the horrors that this game allows you to just unleash upon the world.
Yeah. So Pokemon Infinite Fusion is a fan-made game from someone named Chardub. At least that's the person who is named as the creator in the official Discord. It's available for free, but you will have to find that yourself because fan games are a little dubious legally, and I like having the video up on the channel, and I'm not going to have it taken down for sharing links. So yeah, you can find it for free. It is out there. Pokemon Infinite Fusion sets itself apart from other fan games and ROM hacks with one very simple mechanic that many Pokemon fans have fantasized about for years. And that is that it allows you to take two Pokemon and fuse them together with an item called DNA Splicer. And before we get too far into the actual fusion bit of the game, I want to talk about the other things that it does and like how does it play and stuff like that. So firstly, the game has its own launcher, and it took me a little bit to get it to run. It's not like a ROM hack where you open the game up with an emulator program. It has its own executable. But after extracting the patch files, it runs just fine. Once you start the game, it plays pretty much like any pre-3D Pokemon game. You move on a grid. Sprites are 2D pixel art, and you have 2D pixel art animations. So if you're nostalgic for 2D Pokemon games, this will scratch that itch. That's like the only reason I even really started picking this up, was because I had that itch for old Pokemon. The game starts you out in Pallet Town in Kanto, where you'll progress through the region similarly to the official games in that setting. And real quick, just to pause, I want to confess something embarrassing. I I didn't understand the whole Pallet Town color theme of the Kanto map until embarrassingly late in life.
Oh.
Like that whole thing, like, you know, Pallet Town, Viridian City, Celadon, Lavender Town, like they're all colors, right? That didn't click until I was like 22.
Danie. The games themselves are colors.
Yes, that is fair, but it didn't click in my head. I know it's embarrassing, but I'm willing to admit that. Right?
Danie, the cities on the Game Boy, they were the same color as the names, Danie.
I'm not saying I was smart.
Oh.
I am here willing to admit an embarrassing fact about myself, okay?
Brave. Hashtag brave. Everyone stand this man on Twitter. Hashtag brave.
Hashtag brave. That's right. That's right. There are other regions in the game, including Johto and the Sevi Islands. But the game does have some twists with the plot, incorporating the fusion twist to the game mechanics. I don't really want to spoil how the developers of the game, kind of remixed the story, but it is pretty fun for the most part in terms of story. And I'd rather leave the story bits for you to discover, because outside of the fusion, that's probably the only reason you'd want to go play this. And if you are a Pokemon fan, there are some other things that other than the fusion stuff, though, that they do add to the game. There are some other features. There is a questing mechanic where, like in most towns, there is a hotel building where at least 3 NPCs will give you tasks to complete for rewards. Most of them are just fetch quest, like show me a Pokemon that looks like this, or show me, or can you go get me this item. And a lot of the rewards will be items, or the NPC will be okay, well now I will teach your Pokemon this move for 1,000 Poké-Dollars. So the rewards are decent, but the more quests there's actually an NPC at every hotel that the more quests you complete, they'll actually give you rewards too. So it's once you hit 15 quests completed, you'll get a reward from this NPC, and just kind of keeps rolling from there. There are some not officially sanctioned side quests, I think. I don't know exactly how to describe them, but they're they're just events that you can do. There's a swimmer that you can race around it's the first of 2 laps wins. There is some timed events, some timed quests. This is actually an official one, but there's a guy in Vermilion who wants you to go get him some steamed Krabby legs from the SS Anne to eat. And you have to get the steamed Krabby legs to him before they get too cold. That's really enjoyable. There's a bunch of ways that you can actually change your settings. You can change the difficulty of the game. You can set it where you can what's the word I'm looking for? You can make every battle a double battle or a triple battle, which is kind of fun. If you wanted to try to speed run this and just make it quick by triple battling everything. Another interesting mechanic that was included is this premium wonder trade, where you can get a random Pokemon fusion in exchange for another Pokemon, plus a ticket that you get from gym leaders, or that you can buy up for 1,000 Poké-Dollars. So usually, after you beat a gym leader, you get think 2 to 3, and so you can just get some random fusions, in your, you know, after you beat a gym leader. But we probably should talk about like the headlining feature of this fan game, right? What is fusion and how does it work?
Yeah.
So the Pokemon fusions are typically stronger than non-Pokemon, or than non-Pokemon, than non-fusion Pokemon. So that's like the biggest reason why, outside of just the fun of doing it, that's like the biggest reason why you do it in the game, is because fused Pokemon are stronger. And the stats are determined based on which Pokemon is like the body and which Pokemon is the brain. The Pokemon fusions aren't permanent, so you can unfuse them. Right? So if you don't like the fusion, like this Cubone Hone Edge is just kind of lame, not really feeling it. You can unfuse it. Now the problem that you're gonna run into though is that the 2 Pokemon that you fuse will be collectively weaker than when they are fused. So if you unfuse them, you're gonna lose some levels, and the experience is split equally between the 2 Pokemon, but their like levels combined is what makes them stronger, essentially. And they also do change their typing. So like, and it kind of depends on which Pokemon is the body, which one is the brain. So if you're fusing like a Eradicate and a Noctowl like I did, it'll be a normal flying type. But if you do a I think like a Zubat and Eradicate, if I'm remembering the order right, it'll be like poison and then normal. Or flip that. So yeah, the typing really depends on which Pokemon is your dominant, which one is your sub. The movesets you can combine.
Really, that's a really interesting way to put that, Danie.
Yeah, you have a. Would you like to elaborate?
You're looking awfully submissive and breedable there, bud.
Yeah, I mean, like, so, like, Blastoise. I mean, like, is he more like a dominant, or is he more like a submissive, or like, is he saying that my boy's a switch?
Probably a switch. Probably a switch.
That makes sense. Yeah, considering the fact that it's my favorite starting Pokemon. I can tell my therapist this information now. It makes so much more sense.
Huh. Yeah, and then you can also combine the Pokemon movesets, the Pokemon movesets.
And it's we do have a question in chat from Derek of how not to DM. You can't fuse 2 fusions, correct?
No.
Okay.
And I'll just put like a little seed in here. Fusing more than 2 Pokemon is a part of the story.
Whoa. What? What does that even look like? Do we have any examples?
I don't want to like do like any spoilery things.
Okay.
But
I'm gonna have to find it myself.
Team Rocket has some dastardly plans.
Uh-oh.
Yes. And Team Rocket is like the major villain group of the game. I haven't gotten so far to where I could tell if like, do they bring in do they bring in Team Magma or Plasma or anything like that? I haven't seen that yet. But I'm sorry, I kind of lost track there talking about the movesets. So yeah, you can like combine movesets, or you can just like choose which one. If you really like the moveset on your Charizard and you fuse it with Gyarados, you can just choose to keep like the Charizard's moveset. But in terms of the actual Pokemon fusion, every Pokemon can be fused with every other Pokemon. And I will say, in terms of sprites, the results are pretty varied. Some results, like my Marowak Honedge, are really awesome. Like Marowak and Honedge looks like every anime protagonist ever. Like it's just great. Like he just like sits there with this. He's got a sword, and like I evolved the Honedge into a Doublade, and he looks like Kirito from Sword Art Online.
He do. And he even has that, like, he gets the dope scarf. Like, that was the thing that got me watching your stream, was like, it's not just like slapping things together and like removing one thing's eyes and putting it on something else. Like, these fusions are pretty sick and pretty in depth. It's kind of crazy.
I will say, so there are a lot of custom sprites. A lot of them look really good. Some are really funny. Like there are like internet references in here, like Snorlax and Lopunny. That just is Big Chungus. It straight up is Big Chungus. And then there are some fusions that would make Cronenberg cry.
Oh yeah, yeah. I was really happy to see some of those
atrocities.
Yeah,
an affront to God.
They are an affront to God. They are disgusting. So pretty varied, right? You can't take. I think the it goes from like Gen 1 all the way up to Gen 8 to Sword and Shield, I think. Right? And there are almost, I think up to that, there's like 900 Pokemon. Right? So you can't imagine 900 times like 900 or whatever it would end up being. And each of those fusions looking amazing. Right? And I think that they are updating that, but just like do know that there are a lot of fusions that are procedurally generated. So yeah, just don't go into this expecting like amazing custom sprites for every single fusion, because you're not gonna get that. You find fusions that are just a lot of them are good. You're gonna find a lot of really good ones, but you're also gonna find a lot of really bad ones. And sometimes you have to reverse the fusions to see if you get a good one or not. So like an example of that would be I had a Snorlax and a Cofagrigus. Which, are you guys familiar with Cofagrigus?
What? No.
It's a sarcophagus Pokemon.
Oh, that sounds dope as hell.
Yeah. And I fused my Snorlax with it, and the first version did not look good, and then I reversed the fusion, and it looked like someone turned Snorlax into an ancient pharaoh, and he had like shadow tendrils like behind him.
That's dope as shit. That's the only Pokemon I would ever use.
Yeah. So yeah, you can, so like reversing and just like mixing and matching is really nice. And there's also another thing I'll mention for just like in terms of like the whole fusion mechanic is it creates there's a question. Can you self-fuse like mix two Pokemon like a Snorlax? And yes, you can. And sometimes I think it like doubles their stats. Some of the sprites that they use for that are like the Dynamax, sprites or renditions of the Dynamax sprites from Sword and Shield. But yeah, no, the overall the fusion mechanic is really fun. It's interesting. It's a great twist on the game, and the fact that they actually were able to pull it off with a relatively good result is really fun, and really interesting and impressive. Pretty impressive that they were able to pull it off. I don't know how much programming, how much procedural data they had to like collect and like input and do all sorts of stuff, but they did it. It works pretty well. And kind of like my final thoughts, if I had to summarize, is that this fan game is incredibly enjoyable. It's been one of my go-to downtime games lately. It's been really scratching the Pokemon itch for me. I think if you want something that's more laid back and just fun, this is something for you to check out. If you have played it, I would love to know your thoughts in the comments, and also let us know what your favorite fusion is so far. But Green, Mendacii, do you guys have any thoughts? Any questions?
Not
Any
for me.
opinions?
What was
Just,
that? What was that? What was it? A muck or a grimer mixed with eradicate?
Oh, yeah, that I came across in the sewer. That is a horrible Cronenberg monster. Yeah.
Yeah, man. But at the same time, the fact that that was a monster you just kind of came across in the sewer just felt really
Right?
intuitive. Like, yeah, like of course the terrifying misfit Pokemon chimeras are going to be in the sewer. Probably, getting ready to like plot against Brigadier General Bradley or something like that.
I was just about to make a joke, but I also didn't like want to spoil anything for FMA, so thanks.
It's been out for so long that if you're spoiling it, or if you classify it as spoiling it, I think you're wrong. Like
Right.
Also,
people
Yeah.
have had the ample time to see Full Metal.
Put it on the viewer.
know?
Put that evil on the viewer, not yourself.
questions from the chat real quick. Do you find fusions in the wild? Do your opponents have fusions too? Yes to both. Yeah, most of the gym leaders will have fusions. It's kind of like a 60-40 split, fusions to normals when you fight regular trainers, but yes. You find fusions in both the wild and in the and in gyms and stuff like that. Trying to think if there was anything else that I wanted to mention. I don't think so. I don't know. I haven't gotten to a point where like if megas exist. I don't know if any of the other like gimmicks of later generations like megas or Dynamax or anything like that actually exist, but or Z moves. I don't know if Z moves are around. So yeah, I'll keep up with that on Twitter. So if you guys want to follow me on Twitter at Danie K, DANIECAE, you can check it out there, and I will let you know more things that I find. Anything else? No.
I'm good. I'm good as well. I think that this probably isn't a game for me, but it is extremely fun to watch. Mainly, I don't want to put in the time and the effort to like it was really great having Green come in and be like, "Yo, why the fuck did you put a green like a grass type with that Blastoise? That's dumb." And then was like, "Throw this Ghastly on there," and then it was this dope ass Pokemon. And so I feel like if you're someone who enjoys Pokemon games, you'll enjoy this. I feel like if you're like hardcore into the meta of Pokemon, you'll love this. And if you're into horror movies and just laughing at abominations like myself, you're also going to enjoy it, especially watching it. So, like as a viewer, I would say definitely see if any of your friends are playing it and ask to watch them, or like check it out on Twitch if anyone's streaming it there. Which I don't know if you can? Question mark.
I think
Is
there
that
are people.
possible?
Yeah.
Okay.
And there are people playing it on YouTube as well.
Yeah. So I had a good time watching it. It's definitely interesting and fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Anything else, or do we want to move on to our DKOldies update?
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Fun time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yay.
So it's been some time since we first covered the DKOldies scandal, and we figured it might be time to update you guys on what's been happening with one of the most visible game resellers on the internet. And just real quick, the reason like we haven't, if you like follow the DKOldies story, right, the people who have been covering it, I mean, you get at least 3 videos a week from some of these folks. The reason we haven't been covering it that in depth is because nothing has happened really until now.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's kind of annoying for me as someone who wants to cover this. It's like there's just a deluge of people covering it, and the people who cover it, it's like that's all they talk about right now. And I understand why. There's a point to why they are covering it the way they are covering it, and the people who cover it, it's like they're just that's all they talk about right now. And I understand why. There's a point to why they are covering it the way they are covering it, and the people who cover it, it's like they're just that's all they talk about right now. And I understand why. There's a point to why they are covering it the way they are covering it, and the people who cover it, it's like they're just that's all they talk about right now. And I understand why. There's a point to why they are covering it the way they are covering it, and the people who cover it, it's like they're just that's all they talk about right now. And I understand why. There's a point to why they are covering it the way they are covering it, and the people who cover it, it's like they're just that's all they talk about right now. And I understand why. There's a point to why they are covering it the way they are covering it, and the people who cover it, it's like they're just that's all they talk about right now. And I understand why. There's a point to why they are covering it the way they are covering it, and the people who cover it, it's like they're just that's all they talk about and that is because they want DKOldies to change. But holy cow, it's just like it's. I'm trying to keep up with it. I'm like, there's no updates like ever. So my annoyance aside, first part of the update is that DKOldies really hasn't made direct statements about the consoles that Review Tech USA, Jacob R, Retro Gaming Guy, Kreisky received that were in poor condition and were clearly not refurbished, right? They have not actually made a statement about it. They've only danced around it. They have alluded to it. They've said, when people have asked them in comments on Facebook and stuff like that, they said, "What are you referring to the YouTubers who received things that they were not happy with?" You know, that's the kind of comments that they've been leaving, which is not good. It's not satisfactory to anybody, right? Because the problem is that they are putting a label on their website saying they are offering a service and a product that they are not delivering, at least fully, to everybody, right? People are receiving products that are clearly not refurbished, so you should not be putting it on your website saying it is. And
That's
I mean,
fair.
I would be pretty pissed if somebody told me that I was going to be getting a 14-inch pizza and instead I got a 12-inch pizza.
Or like, a fucking 8, or just like none pizza left beef.
Mm-hmm. Or
Yeah.
a
Pizza
dirty
with
pizza.
Yeah, I was about to say pizza with cobwebs and like mold on it.
I don't
Yeah.
understand what the issue is. That's exactly what I fucking ordered.
Yeah.
It says retro on the label. Okay,
Yeah.
that's what you get.
So
What's more retro than cobwebs, homies?
yeah. But since we have covered it last, there have been some other YouTubers who have investigated claims as well. Most notably, Austin Evans, who has 5.3 million subs on YouTube. And he ordered a Dreamcast, a Wii, a GameCube, PS3, Xbox 360, and Game Boy Color. The orders were not made under his name, so they should have been representative of what the average customer would get and not gussied up because Austin Evans, famous YouTuber, is ordering it, right? Most of the consoles came clean on the surface, and all the consoles, when he tested them, did turn on and they read games. Okay, wins. But there were some issues, though. The Xbox 360 had gunk in the disc tray. It was caked with dust on the inside. There was a weird like rattle, but again, it ran. But he did say when he like cracked it open, there was some evidence of cleaning. Now, whether that was DKOldies or the previous owner that did it, you don't really know. But at least it was moderately clean. He also found that a small part of the mechanism in the 360 was broken near the power button, but it did not prevent it from like turning on or powering. When he checked the heatsink and thermal paste, he found what other customers have found: dried up old thermal paste. When he checked out the PS3 Super Slim, the door was slightly jank, but apparently that kind of like fixed itself after a little bit. And the handle on the GameCube that he ordered was kind of loose. So if they did go into like the GameCube and messed around with it, they didn't really put the shell back together properly. If they did in fact go into it. He did a teardown on the PS3 and immediately found dust bunnies on the inside of the shell. Fans, and it showed signs of liquid damage, including rust, on the inside of the device. And getting down to the motherboard of the device, it was also in pretty poor condition. So, right, that's Austin Evans. And in his parting words in the video, he directed at DKOldies and telling them that they should be actually refurbishing their consoles. And if they were labeling their products as such, then they should be going in and making sure that, wear and tear was replaced and things were addressed. And he didn't see that when he checked it out. And he even recommended that people not buy from them until he sees evidence that they are cleaning and refurbishing their products. I'm going to kind of change my notes here for you guys, but next thing I wanted to update was actually today, the YouTuber Retro Bro, I'm sorry, no. That's not the person I wanted to mention. The Retro Gaming Guy posted a video today And at the very top, he said that he had actually been contacted by a current employee at DKOldies who reached out and informed him that they have been instructed now to open up every single console and clean them out. So he did a unboxing today of a GameCube, and despite what he felt was like a pretty more cosmetically flawed than what he paid for, it did run, and he said it looked like it had been opened up and cleaned. So that's an improvement. So yeah, I mean they might be changing up, and if employees are reaching out and saying like, "Hey, we've actually been instructed now to do the thing that you say we should be doing," I guess that's movement, but they should have been doing it to begin with. But the last thing I wanted to mention for DKOldies, and this is kind of the whole reason that we even decided to bring it up in this show, is that the YouTuber the Retro Bro, I'm sorry. I kind of lost myself in the notes here. Okay. So
Lost in the weeds, eh?
You lost in the weeds. It's so complicated. And a lot of the people have the same names. But okay. Really, the biggest potential news is that there may be a class action lawsuit for false advertising coming against them. And that'd be coming from a law firm called Treehouse Law, who started posting advertisements on Facebook with the following caption: "Have you purchased any refurbished consoles from DKOldies? You may have been deceived by false advertising and are entitled to financial compensation." Now, this is where the Retro Bro comes in, because he decided to contact Treehouse Law to see if they were in fact investigating DKOldies and planning a class action lawsuit. And in his video, he explained that he had a 10-minute phone call with a managing partner named Joshua Nasir at Treehouse Law and confirmed that they had already sent legal letters to DKOldies regarding his consumer allegations. They are allowed to practice in 3 states. I believe he said California, New York, and Illinois. I think those are the 3 states. And he sent those letters representing somebody in one of those 3 states. The Retro Bro was pretty vague and kind of kept his cards to his chest on how much information he knew, so he didn't really let much more out than just that. But from the perspective of anyone looking at the situation, it looks like Treehouse Law is in the early phases of a potential class action lawsuit filing and are looking to represent people in the 3 states that they can represent people in. Which might be pretty bad news for DKOldies, because they would have to like settle. More than likely they'd have to settle if it's been proven. And I think there's enough video evidence out there to show that they weren't practicing what they were advertising. And again, it wouldn't be an issue if they were just saying, "Hey, these are just retro consoles, cleaned, cleaned on the outside," and not labeling them as refurbished.
Yeah, but where's the market in that? Like, here's an Xbox 360 I wiped with a microfiber cloth. Yours for the low price of, say, $250. Like, that's insane, right? Like, if they settle, this DKOldies would probably go bankrupt.
Yeah. So I don't. It's like very early stages. And Treehouse Law really focuses on stuff like this. When I looked up at their website, in fact, let me just pull it up real quick. It's like consumer protection law is how they advertise themselves as. Committed to protecting consumer rights in an age when consumers are increasingly bombarded with false advertising, empty promises, and unfair business practices. So this is something that they are like on the hunt for. So, kind of take it all with a grain of salt, because this is a law firm who is actively looking for stuff like this. They're probably reaching out to unsatisfied customers to try to figure something out if this kind of wafted past their noses.
Well, you gotta assume that if there's a good portion of people saying that they are receiving these items or showing proof that they're receiving these items that are just cleaned on the outside and not actually worked on the inside, that that's been the the practice that they've been going through for a long time. So like marketing their sales, like putting in conjunction with their sales versus like how much like they're upcharging, for just wiping something off. I mean, it's false advertising, and two, it's price gouging. So
Mhm.
like there's the government doesn't really like that. So
Oh yeah. Yeah, like
um
watch the triple B come down hard with the fucking hammer. Like class action lawsuits one thing, dude, but like with the government
FTC.
breathing down, yeah, exactly. Like with the government literally going to, like, they're going to crack you open if this actually gets to a trial, and like that will be the least of your worries. Like, the angry customers being I guess like presented by like the lawyers over at Treehouse. Like,
so
dude, it's written on the wall.
they would more than likely they would see, take a look at how much they had in sales over the last few years, and then they would slap on a penalty charge, right, as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
um because like that's how they punish people, in terms of monetary, is by adding a monetary value of punishment. And
Yeah.
then with the class action, like anyone who has had, dealings with DKOldies is entitled to a portion of that money. So Chelsea.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not going to be pretty, that's for sure. But I think that it is going to be long and drawn out.
Especially
Mhm.
with like it's I'm assuming DKOldie is not like a multi, $1 million business by any means. So I cannot, foresee them like
Surviving.
surviving. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Like
That's a
this is
pretty
this is
heavy.
kind of a death knell, I believe would be the good term for that.
Yeah. So that's kind of that's the update. Um, we'll see if anything does come of it. I don't know. I really don't know if anything is really going to come of it or not. They DK Oldies has. I mean, like I said, they have employees who are reaching out to YouTubers and saying like, "Hey, but we're actually cleaning these things now." And the prices have lowered, but again, the pricing wasn't the issue. You could sell whatever you want at whatever price, but if you're not being honest about the product that you're selling, that's the real crux of the issue. And I would love to see, like, to me, like what would finally put this to bed is just like, okay, why did these customers, right? Why did Review Tech USA? Why did Jacob Barr? Why did Austin Evans? Why did Kreisky? Why did the Retro Gaming Guy? Why did so many of these people open up their products, not get what you told them they were getting? Right? That's all that
Mm-hmm.
really needs to be addressed here. Like admit that either these were that you don't know what refurbished means, or admit that you made some mistake. Like, just address that issue, because there's too much of it now. There are too many people who have gotten eyes on the issue for DK Oldies to continue ignoring it in the way they are. You can't dance around it. If you don't address it out in the open and in the public now, it's going to come out in court because people are going to join a class action if Treehouse Law can get it going. That's just as plain and like as simple as it can happen. That's what DK Oldies needs to do. You guys just need to talk about open and honestly why the products people received were not as advertised. That's it. That's kind of like my last statement on it. Anything for you guys?
Just a little bit, but if Green has something, he can go first.
No, I was gonna say you hit the nail on the head for me. Like, it's not gonna be super pretty.
Okay. Yeah. So I decided to go over to DK Oldies and go to their About Us. And so like basically what they say here is that they offer authentic retro games and consoles, everything like that. There's it feels very carefully worded that they're basically saying like, hey, like you can get these here, but they're not saying like, oh yeah, like they're cleaned 100%, you know, everything like that. What they do say is that like, you know, no fakes, reproductions, or modded products are allowed here. However, there's like numerous YouTube videos, and this is kind of confusing to me. So I mean, like this might not necessarily be a dig at DKOldies, but just about every video that I watched of an unboxing, none of them really had like the original wires with them. I want to say um, it wasn't Retro Bro. It was that other Retro Bro that video. But
Mm.
he was saying that like when he got that Platinum GameCube, like it was third party power cables and everything. And he's like, it's not really great, but you know, it's whatever. So it's just kind of weird that like that's also something that's kind of going on when it says like it's 100% authentic, it's 100% original. Like it's not though. And then also, you can't necessarily say it's going to be 100% original if you're actually refurbishing because you're going to need to replace parts. Something that you know, Austin Evans had pointed out in his video was the PS3, like that original chunky. Or I guess he had a slim, I think it was.
Yeah.
Um, like it was not very well designed mechanically, especially as that like disc slot goes. He's like that, you know, it's just crappy plastic, so it's like not a big deal that it broke off, but you know, it's just like you're going to have to fix stuff. You're going to have to, you know, actually replace things for you to be able to resell it as refurbished. And obviously, like that PS3 had like some sort of gunk all over on the inside of it, and like it had made all of the dust in it just like thick and sticky, and there was rust on it, like just insane. um but yeah, so like it just it just kind of like, I don't know, looking at just the about us, and then if you even take the time to watch one 10-minute video on YouTube, reading through the about us should raise up all of your red flags, and you should have a full understanding of like exactly what's going on, because you can see through all of the bullshit that, you know, like they put up here. And I mean, like there's anything from um stories that are supposed to kind of pull at your heart, like, oh, when I was a little kid and going down to the video store and blah blah blah, to, you know, like I want to have this company that's got customer service like you wish it could be, and that's a quote. You know, stuff like that. And it's just like, man, this company has had none of that, like absolutely insane. And yet somehow still on its Google customer reviews, it's a 4.8. It's a 4.8 out of 5.
Yeah.
Like it's wild. So yeah, if you are a retro gaming junkie or something like that, I mean, all of these big name, you know, retro YouTube channels and gaming and tech channels are saying steer very far away, and that's pretty much all we've been hearing for how long now?
At least 3 months.
Yeah, so maybe think thrice about that before you actually put an order in.
Yeah. Yeah, anything else on this, or do we want to go to deals of the week?
Deals of the week. Ba-dum, bum, bum, bum. Ba-dum. That's fine.
That's your jingle.
Yep.
Your stinger. All right, I'm going to start. My deal of the week actually starts on April 13th and ends on April 20th. You can pick up Mordhau for free on Epic Game Store between those dates. And if you do pick it up, hit me up on Twitter or something so we can play together. I want to hit you with Big Hammer.
Big hammer.
What do you got, Mendacii?
Oh, me? Little old me. So I'm not looking at it exactly right now, so I'm going to try and do this off the top of my head. On Amazon.com right now, the Logitech G435 Bluetooth wireless headset is currently 68% off for $20.99. There are 3 colors. You got white, you got blue with like some cool like pinkish red dragon fruit colored ear parts. And then there's the black, but the black is like 40 something. Now that's down from like 79.99. And green, is this a good headset?
Yeah, Logitechs are always really good. Can't complain about Logitech.
All right. That's an authentic seal of approval from our tech guru, Mr. Green.
However, I mean, I should clarify.
Oh, we got an asterisk.
I personally have not used them. I've used the Logitech G Pros, and then I have, well, another pair of Logitech. I think they're the 5 series, something. Both are good headsets. So like my history with Logitech has been great.
Same. Yeah, these are also Logitech. I can't remember which ones they are. But they are nice and they are comfy, and I love them very much. And I never want them off of my head, so it might be worth it to check out. Dang it, I was off by $9. They're $29.99, but they're still 68% off. So that's like $80 they usually are. You should go and get those if you're looking for a new set of headphones.
Ironically, I think I did this for a game of the deal, like
Game of the deal.
game of the week or deal of the week. Fuck. I think I did this it was like 5 weeks ago, 6 weeks.
Dang, homie.
Yeah, something like that. Pretty sure I did this once already. But I mean, the deal's still going, so get up.
Rabbit.
So for my deal, Danie actually put me onto it. It's a Star Wars collection on Fanatical. We don't talk about Fanatical that much anymore, like that frequently.
No.
But right now it's a Star Wars collection, a good assortment of Star Wars games, some very nostalgic Star Wars games like The Force Unleashed 2, Battlefront 2, Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2. There's Jedi Knight, Jedi Dark Forces 2, Jedi Outcast, Jedi Academy, just a whole bunch of Star Wars games. There's even like the Clone Wars game. You can get all that for $20.99. It's 79% off. That's running for 4 more days and 20 hours from this episode. So get it while you can.
Hell yeah. Anything else?
Nar.
Okay. Well, let's wrap up the show this week. I think that's it. Or, well, I guess we need to plug ourselves, right? What do you guys got going on with your channels? Green, what do you got going on?
I don't know. Busy. I've been dealing with work, we're implementing a new system soon, so I'm going to be working a lot, and I don't know when I'm going to be streaming. But if I do stream, of course, it's always going to be, Hunt Showdown or, something of that sort. I usually tend to not play Overwatch on stream because I become a toxic human being. But I mean, there's a new season of that too, so yeah, it really just depends. We'll see. But you can catch me twitch.tv/Mr. Greenlight. I'm on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, all the fancy things. I'm thinking I might try to make a TikTok return soon. It's just like getting video and stuff like that. It's just been practically non-existent at the moment. I've been failing, but gotta make those bands. Or
Mendacii, what do you got?
So, Upper Iowa University, I'll be commentating what could be their last game, but it also could be the game that gets them into the national playoffs. So, if you're part of my Discord, you'll probably see me being like, "Hey, yo, it's game time." So that'll be Thursday, I believe, at 7:30 p.m. Central Time. And then, other than that, I've been streaming a lot of Monster Hunter Rise lately, in the Sunbreak post game, and I've just been helping a lot of low rank and high rank folks. I might dip around with like some Resident Evil 4. But otherwise, like, yeah, just kind of like waiting for like the next big thing to kind of like come across my plate, so I can hyper focus on that. So if you want to see what I'm up to, definitely check out my Twitter at @onlymendacii. Otherwise, I have been trying. I tried YouTube streaming, so I mean, like, there's that. I'll throw a link up on the Twitter. Anyway, twitch.tv/Mendacii. It's spelled like MENDACII, as always. Chi. Say it over to yourself like 50 times, and I promise you'll say it correctly one of those times. Anyway, that's all.
Simmer down,
That's all for
Mendacii.
me.
You
God
simmer
damn
down.
it. Oh.
Coming up on my channel or things I'm working on, who knows? Apparently my computer, the issue that we thought we fixed on Friday night, literally just reared its ugly head moments before you were supposed to go live here. So I'm going to be fixing shit this week, I guess. I was hoping that we could do VRCana again Saturday, like bring back VRCana, get the session back, but we'll see. That's pretty much it. Otherwise, you can shit post with me on Twitter at Danie, DANIECAE. And I think that's the whole show. Thanks for watching and listening. Your time and attention is always appreciated. If you've made it this far, be sure to drop us a like and subscribe. That's always appreciated. Don't forget to let us know your thoughts on any of the topics we discussed in today's episode in the comments of the YouTube video, or you can tweet at us. Let us know your thoughts on Twitter. Greenlee, hit him with that Twitter.
Yeah, next nothing PC. Yay.
Yeah, otherwise, until next week, stay safe, stay healthy, keep fighting those good fights, and we'll see you again next week. Goodbye!
Bye-bye.
I love you.